everyone, Draco Magnius here for another episode of Let's Blindly Stream Angels with Scaly Wings. In the last episode, we hung out with Adine. We gave her the map that we printed out of the human facility near the portal. We met a new dragon who owned an ice cream stall. Yeah, I'd say it's, well, a cart, really, an ice cream cart. And we helped his business out. In this episode, we're going to end Timeline 3 and see where that goes. But before we do any of that, we have to meet with someone. Let's say Adine. That must be her. Hey, Draco. Hey, Adine. Are you ready to go? Sure am. I can't wait to see everything the festival has to offer. Oh, we actually get to see the festival. Like, in every other There we go. I displaced my mic because I tried to push it away from the laptop so the mic wouldn't pick it up. But as I was saying, every other time we've gone to the festival, there's only the fireworks display at the end. We actually get to see the festival proper. Holy shit. Also, this music's catchy. Hold on. Alright, I'm done dancing. Let's move on. Oh, I'm sorry if it came across that way, but I don't think we'll actually have much time to take part in the festivities. Oh, well, that's a shame. Oh, really? Yeah, I'll have to spend most of my time at the competition grounds. We'll arrive there early so I can check in and do my warm-up, and I'll still have to stick around after my performance to wait for the awards ceremony. Well, I guess you don't have to wait with me. You could see the rest of the festival if you wanted to. That's out of the question. I'm here to spend time with you. The festival is not that important. That's fair. That's fair and valid. Besides, we can always see everything on one of the other festival days. Yes. One of the other festival days. That's totally gonna happen. There's not a giant meteor heading towards the planet right now that would ruin everything. Kill everyone here. Oh, that's silly. Why would you think such a thing? I'm sorry. That was such a weird thought I had. Anyway, let's ignore that and just move on with our lives. Yes. Let's do that. True. We can even watch the big fireworks show at the end. Yeah, I've heard about that. Everyone keeps telling me how important it is for me to see. It's not that important. But if you have the opportunity, you really should go. I'm not sure I'll be able to attend, but I'll gladly accompany you if I have the chance. Sure. So today's agenda is emotional support. And next time, we can take in all the aspects of the festival. Sound good? Perfect. Alright, let's go then. It took a while for us to arrive at the festival, which had already begun by this point. The last of the booths that lined the way were still being set up, but dragons of all shapes and sizes were already pouring in. Instead of walking directly through the festival, we stayed outside the established paths, heading towards the stage where the competition was going to be held. Eventually, we arrived at a rather large open area near the facility that had been roped off. At one of the corners of the building, a few flyers had already gathered. Maybe you should wait here while I get my number. Why? You might get the wrong idea if you show up in the registration line. Ah, yes. Humans, we fly. I would like to participate in this flying competition, please. You don't have wings. That is beside the point, good sir or madam. I wish to be in the flying competition. Do not discriminate against me for not having wings. I can fly. I'll just flap my arms really hard and I'll eventually take off. You don't know. You don't know humanity. Besides, they'd certainly stare and start asking all kinds of questions. Alright, I'll just stay here then. I'll be right back. After Adine had waddled off to the other flyers, I surveyed my surroundings idly. Beyond the big open air area, seating had been provided, and I could already see a few people waiting for the competition to start. A few had even gathered on the roof of the building to watch from there. Neat! I'm back! Is that your number? She held a piece of cloth with a large number printed on it. A few straps were hanging from it. What, this? No, of course not! This is Stormhawk's number. Of course, sorry for the mistake. I'm one of the last to start, actually. Are we late? No, I guess the others just arrived earlier to have more time to get ready. What do you think about the other competitors? I've seen most of them fly before. Some are really, really good. It doesn't seem like there are many newcomers here, so right now, I'm the odd one out. Maybe you could use that to your advantage. How so? Well, you know more about them than they do about you. Having a promising newcomer there might throw them off their game. I'm not sure about that. After all, it's not as if any of our already choreographed performances would change based on what others do now. Each of us just tries to do their best. Most of them are seasoned flyers, so they already know how to deal with that kind of pressure. If anything, I'm the one who might get nervous and mess up. I do have one advantage, though. I'm still pretty young, and this is a sport with a great amount of wear and tear. There comes a certain point in time when you just can't perform as well anymore as you used to. Many complicated maneuvers can only be performed by younger athletes. The older ones make up for it by using their experience, and with better execution of the easier moves. In the end, a daring newcomer like me can surprise the audience and the judges with something new and unexpected, which is exactly what I plan to do. How good do you think your chances are? With a bit of luck, I might even be able to win. This is just a local competition, after all. But you know what? Just being here right now and performing in front of so many people is a win for me. People will know me, and probably get a mention somewhere in the local paper. Or I'll probably get a mention in the local paper somewhere. I've trained for years, and my application to compete finally got accepted. Now I just have to make the most of it, and I'll be happy. I can still hardly believe I'm here. This is the moment I've worked so hard for. And I'll be watching you. Oh, stop! You're making me nervous. Sorry. Can you help me with this? She spreads out her wing, and only then did I notice that her shoulder joint was tightly bandaged. What's that for? It's just a training bandage to help stabilize my shoulder. After that little blunder you witnessed last time, we can't fly with these in the competition. Fumble? We can't fly with these in the competition, though, so I'll have to take it off. Okay. I open the bandage carefully, unwrapping her wing. There you go. Thanks! She spread both of her wings, beating them a few times. I couldn't help notice that the previously bandaged wing was sagging noticeably compared to its counterpart, as if it were misaligned. She seemed to be examining her shoulder, somewhat lost in thought when I spoke. Are you sure you want to do this? Yes, of course! Why wouldn't I? I can see her straining without the bandage. I'm fine, really. Don't worry about it. You're fine without the bandage. How come you were wearing it up to just now? Did you need it for practice, too? You couldn't practice without it. Maybe you weren't ready to compete without it yet. Since when are you suddenly an expert on flying? I'm the one who's been doing this for years, not you. This is my dream we're talking about. You want them to see you in this condition and judge you based on that rather than when you're at your best? I just have to try, you know? What if something goes wrong, though? You don't want to be in that position. If I start making excuses now, I'll never stop. I'll always be too nervous or too injured or I didn't eat right the day before. I feel bad enough as it is. Right now, I have the chance to do this. And if I don't take it, maybe I never will. I'll always just be a server and delivery girl making minimum wage. This is the one chance really... is this one chance really too much to ask for? No, but it doesn't have to be right now. There'll always be another year. They've never seen you compete before. If you fly now, they'll judge you based on this performance. You only have one chance at making a first impression. And you know it won't be your best if you fly right now. If it's not good enough, maybe they won't invite you again next year. If you fly now, they won't accept any excuses. But if you tell them you're injured, they might let you fly another time. But I don't want to wait another year. I want to do it now. I trained so much, even with this injury. You're telling me I should just let it go? I just can't help thinking about last time. If you crashed like that again, there's no sand here to cushion your fall. It would be much worse. Think I don't know that? That I'm not already worrying about this more than I ever have for anything else? I just don't want to make excuses anymore. Don't want to wonder if I ever amount to anything more than a waitress. I want to be able to follow my dream. And I don't want to wait another year to find out. What about Emily? If something happened to you, how do you think they would explain it to her that you just suddenly stopped showing up, huh? Don't you dare bring her into this! She has nothing to do with it! Like it or not, what you're doing could have consequences. And there are others beside you who will be affected if something goes wrong. You know what? I'll fly and do the best damn job I've ever done! And there's nothing you can do to stop me! Before I could reply, she angrily stomped off towards the building, where by now, a number of contestants had arrived. While I had failed to convince her, at least I could say that I had tried my hardest to stop her. I asked myself whether I even wanted to watch the competition at that point. It was possible that she'd do better than expected, but if my experience was any indication, her performance would not turn out well. In the end, I decided to stay and watch from the sidelines. I didn't want to join the rest of the audience, as I was sure it would get me unwanted attention. After the competition started, I lost myself in thought, thinking over the conversation I had with Adine, while watching the other contestants half-heartedly. Adine had been right. Some of them were very good. Damn it, I keep fumbling. Some of them were really good. Some of them really were very good. But, based on what I had seen in her practice session, she did have a shot at winning, if everything went well for her. Even though my rational mind doubted that that would happen, for her own sake, I hoped it would. One by one, the contestants showed off their skills in a variety of moves, usually followed by the applause of the audience. Eventually, it was time for Adine's turn. Next on the stage, number 11, a promising newcomer who will show her skills to the public here for the very first time in her debut performance. Please welcome Stormhawk! There was an excited bout of clapping. The audience was always curious to see a newcomer on the stage. However, after a few seconds passed, Adine still hadn't emerged. An awkward silence set in as the audience applause stopped, and everyone sat anxiously waiting for her to show up. She never did. After half a minute or so had passed, the announcer's voice once more echoed across the area. My apologies, it looks like number 11 will not be flying today. Next up is number 12, a certain veteran you may know for his somewhat unusual technique. Before I could even ask myself what happened, I saw Adine walking out of the building and coming towards me. Adine, what did you do? Let's just go somewhere else. Okay. She got cold feet, I guess. That's sad. We walked away from the festival and sat down under a tree in the outskirts of town. As the competition was already nearly over, the darkness had already set in. Here should be good. So, what made you reconsider? You were right with everything you said. When I was inside, I had a bit of time to cool off. I realized I didn't want to do it like this, even if I had to wait another year. How do you feel now? I know it was the right thing to do, but I can't help thinking that I just came so close that I could have done it if it hadn't been for that stupid accident. You'll have another chance, I promise. Don't make promises you can't keep. Hey Draco, look at the sky. Can you see that light? The one that looks a bit brighter than the others? Oh fuck, it's the meteor! Yeah, that looks like a meteor approaching this planet, going to kill us all. I looked up and saw many celestial bodies lighting up the sky. One of them was noticeably brighter than the other stars. Yeah. Air quote, stars. I usually practice in the evening and stay until it's dark, yeah, no, I was right. I don't know why I second-guessed myself there. I usually practice in the evening and stay until it's dark, so I see stars pretty often. I noticed something about that one. It moves. Hey, Howard. And yes, we are. I mean, not today, but maybe tomorrow. Or sometime in the distant future. But I mean, the people on this planet, they're all going to die when that meteor gets here. Unless we do something about it. How does it move? It looks pretty stationary to me. You won't notice it just by looking at it. But over the last couple of weeks, I've noticed that it has changed positions when compared to the other stars. It can't be a star then. Stars don't move. I mean, they kind of do. I mean, they usually stay in their general orbits, but they don't, like, move across the sky, as it were. Normally, under regular circumstances. Or over billions of years. I mean, here's the problem with letting it happen, Howard. I'm still here on this planet, so I would die with everyone else. If we ignore the altruistic thing of, we've gotten to know all these dragons, and their thoughts, their feelings, emotions, they're all people, and they deserve to live, I'm still kind of here? I will die with them? I mean, I can walk through the portal. You know, now that I think about it, that is an option that we don't ever consider. The world's going to fucking get obliterated. Why don't we just move the dragons from their world to our world? I mean, the human side of things isn't that great, but, like, what's better? Them living in a world that's not that great? Or the alternative, obliteration by meteorite? I feel like one is better than the other. They have an office in one of the cities that watches these kinds of things. I called them about it a while ago. What did they say? It's just an asteroid passing by. It's even been on the news a few times. Yes! Passing by! It's totally not coming this way. Let's ignore the fact that it's slowly getting bigger over time directly towards us. No, it's moving! It's gonna get out of the way! I'm sure no cosmic accident will knock it on course with the planet. That'd be silly. Why would that be a thing that you think would happen? Dying, you're such a character. That makes it sound pretty important. Yeah, it's a big one, apparently. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be able to see it without a telescope. Do they think it's dangerous? They should, but let's ignore that. Why would it be? I don't know, it could hit the moon or something like that. They assured me that it's not going to happen. They say calculating the paths of celestial bodies is a very complicated science. Not really an exact one. Fair. But at the same time, in the grand scheme of the universe, there are an uncountable number of celestial bodies and objects floating through space at any time. Time for the existential nightmare of the night, folks. At any point, technically speaking, an asteroid, let's say an asteroid could come near our planet, not really come around it, but while it's traveling, it could get hit by something else, which launches it into a collision course with our planet, killing us all. Or it could just head straight towards us, killing us all. Or it could maybe land in the ocean and cause a massive tidal wave that does countless damage to cities around the coasts. Or, with a big enough asteroid, if it doesn't burn up completely and hits the ocean, it could just flood the entire world. Or at the very least, flood all of the land masses up to a certain point, killing a bunch of people, then receding. The point is, the universe is a very, very big place, and at any time it could lead to our downfall. I am sorry about the depressing thought, but I just had that thought enter my mind, so now you're all here with me. The thing is, just don't fucking think about it. If I can give you any advice, anyone watching this that just got depressed by my existential thought, just never think about it ever, period, end of story. If it enters your mind, go, oh yeah, that is true. Well, let's ignore that thought for a while and distract myself with something else, like this game! They know it's not going to hit the moon, but they're watching it to make sure it passes safely. Oh good, they're watching it. Not that just watching it would make a difference. They don't really know anything more. Apparently they're also really underfunded. Council doesn't seem to need to waste people's time and money to look into the sky all day. Ah, and that will be their downfall, yes. Who gives a shit? What? The sky! It's not like anything could fall out of the sky and kill us. That'd be silly! Once a quick death. Go out in an epic way. I mean, yeah! That is valid. It would be pretty fast. It hits the ground, fire and rock careening everywhere. You'd probably die relatively quickly. Even if you're not nearby the collision site, the shockwave alone might be enough to just burst your eardrums. And then there's also considering, the fire and rocks kicked up by it, how far out that would go. I'm not too familiar. It might be on the scale of a nuclear bomb. I mean, obviously it would be more devastating than a nuclear bomb. But, this is the thing I haven't really considered. That's strange, don't you think? It used to be a pretty important job, but over time the funding got less and less until only this token office in our biggest city was left. That would be kind of funny. Just some guy walking along, he looks up, there's a giant fucking rock above his head. Well, shit. Boom! Such a shame, since the whole institute was based on our creation story. In what way? In one of the stories, our creator told us to watch the skies, because a giant fucking murder rock was heading our way and we should probably do something about it. How religious are you, really? What exactly do you mean? Well, dragons have these myths about humans. How many of them do you actually believe are true? Oh, I believe all of it. I just love reading all the stories, theories, and all that. Sorry, I knocked my microphone wire out again by gently moving my hand into the wire. Whoops! Well, there's a lot we can learn from it. Much of our society is based on it, including the laws and traditions. You like that? Oh yeah, I remember that episode. I see. Can I ask you a question? Sure, go ahead. What do you think if I told you that I'm a time traveler from the future? Whoa! Trippy. Sorry. Had to. Hey, don't joke about something like that. Why not? Because I believe you. Besides, if you were really a time traveler, I think you'd come from the past, like the time when we were created. Well, it's kind of tricky, Adine. You see, I'm from the future, but also, I mean, technically all of you guys are in the past, but technology was sent from the future to the past, which helped someone create you as a race in the past. But it's weird because there's like a temporal, what is the past is the future, when you can just choose whenever you're going, and time seems to progress normally for both timelines. So, like, days spent here is days also moving in the future, so, like, what is time, really, but an illusionary construct created by humanity and / or dragons in this instance. Time is meaningless, really. But anyway, I digress. This game gets a lot of thoughts out of me. A lot of really bizarre thoughts. But I digress. Really? Why is that? Because that's the only time in our history when we know humans ever being here. If you came from the future, that would mean humans were to show up at some point in our future history. And I'm not sure how or why that would happen. Okay, let me hit you up with another theory, Adine. I know it's bullshit, but hear me out. What if there's an entire civilization of humanity living underground right now, and there's like 1 or 2 people that come up every so often to see how your civilization is progressing, but they don't want to interfere with it because they're curious how your society is going to progress and if it will become better or worse than the society they've created before you guys. And they're testing to see if you're better than they are in the interest of having a better dominant species on the planet, bettering either themselves or yourselves, or eventually coming up to live alongside you as equals. Or to conquer you at some point, when they feel like you've made enough progress to fix the planet that they fucked up. That could also be a possibility. Like, hey, we fucked up hard, we're gonna live underground for multiple generations, and we'll have these dragons living on the surface, and we'll make it so they can survive in certain scenarios that we can't survive in, and eventually their civilization is going to be so great it'll be equal to our previous civilization, and we'll just kill them and take it over at once, we're ready to do that. These are all possibilities that you gotta consider when time travel is a thing in your universe. And / or other civilizations that may or may not exist underground, above it, or whatever. Again, I'm rambling, so we're just gonna, Wouldn't that mean that I was your creator? Well, not necessarily. There could have been other humans around, right? Your myths only mention one, though. Yeah, but people speculate, trying to find explanations for those old myths. Maybe there were more humans around, and they just died, or their creation rebelled and killed them. Others say they fled across the ocean. We just don't know. What do you think? I don't know. I like reading about all the theories and trying to piece the puzzle together myself. That's why I want to visit that underground building we found. Some of the theories are quite out there. Like what? For example, one says that humans are really aliens who come from a different planet. They created us for some reason and then just vanished again. Yeah, that sounds similar to stuff that we on our planet believe. Aliens. You could meet. That could mean someone could go back and fix 2020, or maybe they did in this version of. I mean, that's also valid. Funny story. So, I don't know how familiar, Howard, you are with Futurama, but Futurama had these title cards where they would put funny little messages at the bottom. Well, one of those messages was, time travel to 2020 is currently banned. Now, this was well before 2020 happened that title card was in that episode of Futurama. They fucking knew that 2020 would be a shit year. Now, you could say, oh, they predicted the future or whatever. But what's more likely would happen is they saw the writing on the walls of how shitty everything was going and went, shit's about to fall real fast around 2020, so we'll just make a quick jab in our title card about it. Ah. So yeah, you're familiar with the 2020 title card. What would they do that for? Okay, now it's time for me to answer myself, technically. Why would an alien race come to a planet, create a species, and just fucking leave? The answer to that is quite simple. Because they fucking can! Where was I cut off? I went through this whole diatribe about why a species would create another species and then fuck off, and I don't know where exactly I cut out. I mean, I guess long story short of it is because they can. The answer is because they can. Maybe it's an experiment, and they're testing us. Some say they're always watching us, from up there somewhere, with a giant mothership, and maybe one day they'll return, when we're ready to join them. Ah, yes, when you finally prove that you're a higher society. God damn it! Of course it was at the start. So basically my hypothesis is what she's kind of saying here. An intelligent species that has the ability to create life would do so simply to prove that they fucking could. It would boost their ego, literally making them like gods. And they'd also be curious to see how the species would develop over the years. Would they develop on the same track as their species, the species that made this new species, did? Would they differ in some way? Could they be pushed to develop a very specific way? Could they be exploited after the fact? Because capitalism, this is actually new, I didn't mention it last time, capitalism is a thing. And the problem with capitalism, the big problem, is it needs a lesser being to exploit. It is a cruel way to say that, a lesser being, but it's basically how it works. And by lesser being, I mean the disenfranchised, the poor. Slave labor, originally, but that was eventually kind of snuffed out. And I say kind of snuffed out because it doesn't happen in capitalist countries anymore. It happens in other countries that are out of our way that we don't have to look at. Because that's how fucking capitalist society works. There needs to be a being that gets exploited at somewhere down the line. So that the higher ups, the middle to higher up benefit from the people getting exploited at the bottom. That's how capitalism works. So if we assume that a species comes with a way to make a brand new species of being, they would the businessmen and capitalists of the society would probably encourage this new plan to make this new species solely so they would have an exploitable race of people. Now, if they do that, we know from our own history that eventually those beings would rise up, rebel, and destroy everything. Or at the very least, take over everything. We've seen it in fantasy movies where robots rise up. It would basically be the same plot, except now it's a new species of being and not a robot. But that's in the darker spectrum of things. On the lighter spectrum of new race of beings, and see if they develop in a way that's better than the way their society has developed, and to try to bring back the knowledge from watching this society to their current society to try and fix mistakes that they might have made. Oh! Well, hey, congratulations on the 21 followers. That's pretty out there, I'll say. You said it, me. I said some pretty crazy fucking things back there. Also Adine did, I guess. I think mine was a little crazier on the crazy spectrum of things, but you know, it's not a competition on who's the craziest crazy person who ever crazied. I'm pretty sure I would win in this particular argument, but there's people far crazier than I. Told you so. What about the humanity you come from, though? Why don't you tell me more about your world? I don't like talking about that. It's much prettier here. I don't believe you. It's the truth. I'll believe it when I see it with my own eyes. I'd love to visit your world. I don't think it'd be a good idea to visit us right now. Why not? Do you know what our world is like? Are there any rumors about it? About that? Not really. There hasn't been much speculation about that yet. Of course, we're curious, though. Next time we want to send one of our ambassadors into your world. To make it even... to make it even and all that. I'm not sure if that's a good idea. Don't be so negative. I'm sorry, it's not up to me to determine the best course of action. I'm just a lowly ambassador, after all. Not quite as lowly as a waitress with nothing more than high aspirations. Maybe it's time for me to go home. I would walk you, but I guess you'd be but I guess you'd be faster if you flew. No, I'd rather not without the bandage. Are you serious? You were going to do your performance like that? I know, I shouldn't have tried. You don't have to bring that up again. Yeah, that's a bit of a low blow. I mean, I get it, you're worried about her and all, but come on, man. Dick move. I get you're worried, but come on. I'm sorry. For what it's worth, I think you made the right decision in the end. Thank you. Shall we go then? Sure. There we are. Do you want to come in for a bit? Would be a shame for you to have come all this way for nothing. Sure. Oh shit. This is some lo-fi porn music if I've ever heard it. I mean, obviously, I don't think there's any nudity or porn scenes in this game as we saw in the Anne timeline. But I'm just saying, this sounds like an 80s porn track that'd be playing in the background. Or is that just me? It might just be just me. Then again, what the fuck would I know? I wasn't alive in the 80s. I just know references to it. She opened the door, wiping her feet on the doormat before she went inside. Can I offer you something to drink, maybe? No thanks, I'm good. How about some TV? That could be interesting. I haven't watched a TV in ages. And I don't have one in the apartment. That's weird. Why didn't they put a TV in our apartment? Anyway. You're right. You've got a pretty decent apartment, but they don't provide a TV. I wonder why. Maybe they want to avoid culture shock or something like that? I don't know. I mean, I'm able to walk around this society pretty nonplussed. Like, what would the culture shock be? Oh no! An ad! For dragons! On the TV! It's for, like, horn polish or something. What is this? Ah! Like, what is the thought here? What's the culture shock? Where does that come from? Got a shelf full of books, though. Why would books be fine, but not a TV? I suppose when they give me books, they know what I'm going to read, but on TV, they can't really regulate the content I'm going to see. At least if TV works the same way ours used to. Oh, okay, I see the issue then. You might find something sketchy on TV or something you don't really understand. I guess. Maybe you see the worst of their society through certain shows. Like, imagine, Dragon reality television's probably gotta be a wild fucking experience. That's true. Maybe they just thought your time would be better spent elsewhere. I guess. They didn't want me to watch TV. They certainly never told me. Actually, there's a series on right now that could be pretty interesting to you. What is it? Well, I'm not going to tell you. Do you want me to put it on or not? Sure, let's do it. Adine turned on the TV, and a brief flicker appeared on the screen before it was filled with the image of a house from the outside. Well, that doesn't look unusual. Just wait a bit. The camera cut to the inside of the home, while the chattering of small talk could be heard. Then, some figures entered the living room on the screen. They were grotesque malformed creatures with rather cartoony proportions, covered in odd lumps all over their body. They all shared the same odd skin tone. It was clear to me these figures were played by actors in obviously fake bulky costumes that reminded me of mascots. What are those? Humans? I had a feeling. Humans? That's the name of the series. It's a typical sitcom around a contemporary family. We would expect, as we would expect it. But the twist is that everyone is human. Oh my fucking god. It's a stereotypical sitcom, but dragons in human suits. Okay. And then I realized why I hadn't been able to identify the creatures on screen as human. They were all naked! I mean, that's fair. Not a lot of dragons in this society wear clothes. They had applied their own principles when creating the series. Gotta be more careful with this fucking wire. Okay, let's read the line again because I'm not sure where it cut off. It was quite bizarre to see a typical family sitcom where all the characters were obviously fake costumes and also happened to be naked. Do you like it? It's one of my favorites. While it's a sitcom, it manages to address serious and deep issues fairly often, which I don't think would be as effective if we weren't watching them through the lens of this alternative reality. This one isn't a bad episode, but it's already nearly over. Guess there's no point in watching the ending. True. By this point, the credits were already rolling, and Adine turned off the TV again. What do you think? Let's just say that if a human looking like that suddenly showed up in our world, people would probably run away screaming. Accurate. Uncanny Valley is a thing. They don't look that bad. And I'm human right here. You can compare actively. They look nothing alike. Granted, I mean, one versus... Sure, it's impressive if we consider that they had to work with what they had to work with. But there's a few things they got wrong. Like what? For one, humans mostly wear clothing. And secondly, we don't have tails. Those are just small details. The series is still good, though. Is it popular? For sure. Many people love it. I see. I hope they aren't too scared of me when they see how different I am, though. I didn't run away screaming when I first met you, did I? True, and neither did any of the other dragons I've met. Now that you're already here, there's something you could help me with. What is it? Well, it'd be a huge favor to ask, and it's kind of embarrassing. Just say it. The worst I can do is say no. How should I say this? It's about my shower? I get pretty dirty from practice sometimes, especially from bad landings, and recently the detachable shower head broke. That usually wouldn't be much of a problem, but with this injury I can't quite reach a few places on my own. It's already not ideal having to manage everything with my wings, but now it's even harder. You want me to scrub your back? I guess you could put it that way. I told you it was embarrassing. I'll do it, why not? Don't worry about it, I'm glad to help. Thanks! This way. So, question. If I'm scrubbing her back, I'm assuming I'm getting naked in the shower with him. This thought just occurred to me suddenly. Cause I could wear my clothes in the shower, but then my clothes get all damp, and that's stupid because then I'm gonna have to wait for them to dry, so at some point I'm getting naked. It's not like they have bathing suits just lying around. Adine probably doesn't have a swimsuit for humans lying around her fucking... There we go. Yes, it did go to a weird place. But, let's ignore it for a second and continue with the plot. This isn't your regular dragon-sized shower. It's made specifically for a flyer like me. We need enough room to stretch our wings. That makes sense. Certain dragons would need certain accommodations for their, wings and various features. I wonder how the four-legged dragons that don't have hands scrub. Adine is clearly a winged dragon, so she's got, hands sort of to speak with at the end of her wings. So she can scrub just fine, in theory. But how would a four-legged dragon with no graspable hands wash? Just think of the possibilities. She took off her goggles and stepped into the a roomy walk-in shower. After pushing the button on the wall, water started flowing from the shower head mounted on the wall. She moved around a bit, stretching this and that way, in order to cover her whole body in water. Soon afterward, she pressed the button on the wall again, and the water stopped flowing. She turned to show me her back, wings splayed. The soap and sponge should be right there. I took a sponge that wasn't unlike the ones I knew from back home, and added some soap from a rather big bowl. It seemed to me that each species had their own challenges that they needed to overcome when it came to daily tasks. Like this one, emphasized by all the different design choices when it came to everyday items. You can start with the wings and work your way down from there. Sure thing. I couldn't help making a joke to ease the tension a bit when I put the sponge on her muzzle. Hey, it looks like you've got something here. Oh, wait, it's just your stripes. Hey, stop that! Sorry, I couldn't resist. Good one. Now you've got soap in my nose. I started scrubbing her wings. Now that I could see them up close and fully extended, I found them to be quite impressive. I actually tried to do that before. What do you mean? washing off those stripes. Why? Well, I was just a child back then. You know how kids are. They make fun of everything. Though, I don't know if human children are the same. Oh, human children are absolutely the fucking same, Adine. They are. Trust me. Children suck. Don't press too hard there. That's the injured shoulder. I'll be careful. Eventually, I reached her lower back. And while I was washing a particular spot on the left side, I could see her leg twitching slightly. Are you ticklish there? I guess you noticed. What happens if I do this? I repeated my menstruations, moving the sponge in circles over that particular spot. Hey, stop that! She started squirming, and suddenly her tail whacked around and hit me in the face, causing me to stumble and fall over backwards. I mean, you should have seen that coming there. Are you okay? I guess I deserved that. Well, you tickle a dragon, you get the tail, apparently. The forked tip of her tail was still hovering inches above my face. Its peculiar shape reminded me of something, and I couldn't help but grab it and hold it like a telephone. That's what it reminds you of. It reminds me of a crescent moon. I mean, I guess I could see the telephone. Hello? Hello? What are you doing? I think your phone isn't working. Stop being silly. Alright, I'm nearly done anyway. I resumed my scrubbing. Fumble? By now, only her tail was left. Not being entirely sure about my technique, I moved the sponge over the tail's whole length in small circles. I was nearly done. I noticed a low rumble emanating from her, reminding me of what an oversized cat purr might sound like. I was just wondering about that, but I didn't vocalize it. So, like, in our world, a lot of animals enjoy being pet by humans. Oh! Can actually hear it. But anyway, a lot of animals enjoy being pet by humans. Some domestic, some not. And it makes me wonder if there are other species, like, again, grand scheme of things, the universe is very big, there's other sentient life. It makes me wonder if we met another sentient species. Would there be a species, possibly, that we met, again, intelligent, equal or greater to human intelligence, that might enjoy feeling a human's touch? You know, maybe not anything lewd, but like, you know, petting their hair or fur, whatever they might have. Or scales. Anything, really. Because again, infinite expansive universe, possibilities endless. Something out there might exist that enjoyed the touch of a human hand. But that's just speculation and me wondering. Again, weird thoughts. Is that... Are you purring? Suddenly her expression changed as she looked over her shoulder. Oh, are you done? You should take a step back if you don't want to get hit by the water. Oh, so I was closed that entire time. I see. I was scrubbing when the water was... Okay, that makes sense, actually. After I left the shower again, she pressed the button on the wall, and the water resumed once more. She only stood under it briefly and moved around a bit under the water, until the water had completely washed off the suds. When she turned off the water again, I realized that it didn't cling to her much at all. After she shook herself for a bit, stepped out again, nearly dry. Thanks, I really needed that. You're welcome. It's probably getting late for you, and I already held you up this long. Don't worry about it. Oh, it's already dark outside. It was dark when we had our conversation with her outside! What are you talking about, you dingus? I guess that took longer than I thought. I'm not supposed to go outside this late. Oh. Is that a thing they mentioned that I'm forgetting about? It might be. You're right. We were advised by the police to stay inside after nightfall because of everything that's going on. For me, this is even more important. We don't know if there's anyone out there who might want to target me. I suppose you'll just have to spend the night then. I guess so. Oh my. Another free day. Yay me. Huh. Wow, so I'm not gonna lie. I thought we'd be at the end of the timeline by now, but I mean, I guess we can keep going. So let's see. Who do we want to meet then? We could meet with Bryce or Remy. I mean, we haven't really interacted with Bryce all that much. And I don't know what... I mean, we have been interacting with Remy. Fuck it. Let's meet with Remy. Hey, Remy! Hello, Draco. Is there any particular reason why you wanted to meet here? I enjoy Tatsu Park is all. Have you been here before? Yes, I have. Once or twice. I see. Well, what do you think of it? It's pretty idyllic, it's pretty romantic, it's nothing special. I'd say idyllic. I mean, maybe it's romantic too. I mean, it's got some very lovely cherry blossoms or whatever the equivalent of this world is right now. It is. I like it a lot here. You mentioned you wanted to talk to me about something. Yes, well, about that. I just have a lot on my mind, and I felt I needed to tell someone. I wouldn't burden you if I had anyone else to talk to, but the simple fact is that I don't. Hey, you can talk to me, Remy. Thank you, I appreciate that. It's not a problem. What's on your mind? I don't even know where to begin. Do you ever feel like there's an There's an emptiness inside you? That every day is the same joyless routine that you wish you could escape but can't? Yeah, I work in retail. I mean, I could be honest. I do. I see. Is this about Emra again? Well, it's not just about her, but working with her doesn't make things any easier. To think that just a few years ago, I was the happiest I could have been, and now I've nothing but my miserable life. Yeah, that's... You know what? I'm not gonna say anything, because I was just about to get into some very depressing territory, so we're just gonna move on with our lives. What happened? It's a long story. We have a lot of time. Okay, well... A few years ago, I worked in the public sector. I mean, I still do, but my position was a different one. I didn't work under a minister back then. I was part of a committee tasked with providing independent and factually backed opinions on community topics. It was supposed to help not only politicians, but also the general populace. Free from outside interference, we did our own fact-checking based on research and publicly reported our findings. Our individual members didn't always agree, but we made sure the end results were based on verifiable facts. In this way, we offered a variety of comprehensive opinions on difficult topics. We found the truth, and allowed people and politicians to make up their minds from there. Our work was a key influence in the community. Because the conclusions of each individual member were often different, it could never be said that we were biased. So you were a journalist. What you're saying is you were a journalist. Like the original journalists. before it got super big and suddenly it wasn't about telling people stories anymore and it was about entertainment. You were the original journalists of your world. It was during one such assignment that I met a certain person named Amelia. My task was to determine the viability of several projects, each competing for a research grant from our council. Amelia was a member of one of the scientific teams vying for a grant. She was an inventor, and her group was looking for ways to streamline hospital processes and tests by utilizing new technology. The first time I saw her was when our committee watched her group's pitch. One of the things we had to do was determine whether their claims and goals were realistic. In her case, they were. Ultimately, they didn't get the grant, but when she recognized me in a restaurant a while later, we started talking. She was very smart, and I admired her spirit. She just wanted to help people with her talents. And in this way, she reminded me a lot of myself. We kept seeing one another, and we grew close. Before long, we were dating. It felt so right. I thought our relationship was about to become very serious, but then she informed me that her research group had applied for another grant. Of course, that complicated things. My committee was once again tasked with judging the viability of the different projects, and while I intended to stay impartial on the matter, she would probably be seen as an influence due to our relationship. With these concerns in mind, we decided not to meet again until the grant winner was determined. We hadn't expected her group to get it, but in the end, they did. We didn't want to end our There. We didn't want to end our relationship over something like that. But if word got out that we were together during the decision-making period, it would put both of our jobs in jeopardy. In the end, we decided to wait and made a commitment. 6 months after the grant was given to her team, we return to one another and make our relationship public. That much time would have ensured, that it wouldn't be an issue. We even made plans to move in together when the time came. But we never got that far. I only knew the rest of what happened from various reports, but apparently Amelia got sick. Nothing serious, mind you. She continued to work from home as best she could. The project was already behind schedule, and she didn't want to endanger it. People were critical and very curious about what the project would amount to, and she didn't want to be responsible for its failure if she took some days off to recuperate. So every day she would continue working on the project until the dead of night. Sounds like another dragon we know. Actually, now that I think about it, is Amelia the girl that Anna was talking about in her timeline? I forget, but I digress. One late evening, she went out to pick up her medication, in addition to something to help her stay awake. But she was sick and overworked. The combination of the prescription side effects and the supplements caused her to collapse. No one was around to see her fall. Never mind, it's probably a different dragon from the one in Anna's story. When she was found the next day, she was covered by a blanket of fresh snow. It was too late. She froze to death during the cold winter night. If someone was with her, this would not have happened. But she died out there, all alone. All because we kept our relationship a secret. Remy, you can't think like that. there's no correlation here. Like, I mean, maybe if you were with her, she wouldn't have died. But if anyone was with her, she wouldn't have died. Why did she work alone when she knew she was ill? Why did she not have one of the people that were part of her team work with her that night? Say, hey, I gotta go grab my medication and some other stuff to keep me awake. Would you mind coming with me? I might pass out. I don't know for certain. Feeling a little woozy. We had plans to move in together. We even talked about having our own small family. Some things are just not meant to be, it seems. If I had to identify the moment life started going downhill, losing Amelia would be it. My heart was ripped out in that moment, and now only emptiness remains. It's like a wound that never closes. Maybe you saw those pictures in my apartment. Even my home is a reminder of her. We were going to move into that apartment together. And this tie I'm wearing, I got it from her as well. When she gave it to me, she said that it was red like her scales. As long as I wore it, she would be with me in a way. For so long, I've been holding on to her with all my might. I wish I could stop, because I know it's killing me. But I've been doing it for so long that I don't think I can. Yet in some way, holding on to Amelia's helped me. When I look back on all the happy memories we made, Emra's bullying hurts a little less. If only because those memories hurt so much more. And I would love my job if it wasn't for Emra. It's a constant struggle. A battle I have to fight every day. And each of her words slices through me, creating new wounds on top of others that never closed. Some days I just don't want to do it anymore. Don't know how much longer I can... I'm not sure if there's anything that can fill the void. Have you ever spoken to a professional about this? No, I don't think I could. Not with a stranger. Thank you, Draco. Getting all that off my chest already helped a lot. No problem, Remy. Anything else on your mind? Well, there was the whole thing about Anna. You mentioned that last time. Are you still worried about what she was working on? Not as much. I guess whatever she was doing is over now. But who knows what went on in her lab? I imagine we'll hear about it once the police search it and her apartment. I guess there's not much use thinking about it. Especially now that she's out of the picture. In the end, I can't help but feel a little sorry for her, too. With her condition, I imagine that the Ministry's disapproval must have been a tough pill to swallow. What are you talking about? Me, you know it's in your future, Brain. She had cancer. Oh, shit. So that's what she... I mean, she never did specify what the illness she had was, just that she had an illness that was going to kill her. Huh. So it was cancer, jeez. That's rough. There's a joke that could be made about the dragon cancer, but, you know, we're just gonna skip over that. I see. That kind of diagnosis would drive some people crazy. Maybe that's what it did to her. Having to live with that knowledge must have been difficult. You heard about Anna's cancer. Well, that certainly was random to pop up, but okay. Remy paused and gave me an embarrassed smile. Quite a bit of time has passed since you arrived, and you've barely been able to speak. I've been talking a lot. I don't mind. There must be a lot on your mind, too. There is. I'm sorry, Vibe. It's past midnight. I mean, technically I started at 11, but I'm kind of nocturnal. That's my problem. I work a night job, so I'm used to waking up late. I'm gonna try and get a job where I work in the day, so maybe that'll help fix this, but... Yeah, we just got that. Cancer. Since I work with Emra, I know all the details surrounding you and Reza. Not many do. Many rumors are going around town. All this time you've been working with our police? Yeah. And now you're hunting the person who was supposed to be your partner. That must be really hard for you. I came here because I wanted to do the right thing. Nothing about that has changed. What kind of person is Reza anyway? The kind that stops at nothing to achieve what he believes in. Oh, congratulations for your mom. I can see that. We've already witnessed just how far you'll go. What do you think about him? Honestly, I'm not sure. Back home, his relentless quality... His relentless quality of his was admired, but I certainly don't condone his actions. Given what I know about him, I think he must have a reason, as weird and twisted as it may be. And what about you? I have my own principles. I see. How's your hunt for Reza going, anyway? Not too great. We don't have any strong leads or any idea of his whereabouts. In the end, we're just following his trail of murder and destruction. People are getting afraid. The rumors are starting to take effect. Alright, have a good night, Vibe. Thanks for joining us, however brief it was. I understand these aren't normal human hours. I thought Emra was going to give a press conference to warn the public. That didn't happen. She feared the potential backlash if people knew about Reza while you were still here, so for the time being, he has been declared as a missing person. The public has been informed that if someone sees him, they are to call the police immediately. They were told he may be suffering from an affliction that makes him behave erratically. But some people are putting two and two together. No one has seen Reza for a while, even before he was officially declared missing. It's easy to line up the timelines and see that the murders started happening shortly after he vanished. What we know about the break-ins and thefts is also damning. Objects stolen all point toward Reza. I'm not sure how much longer they can keep this a secret. How do you think the public will react, considering that I'm still staying here? I don't know. We can't really predict the public opinion, but you can bet there will be critical voices. I'm not sure how I could even convince everyone that I'm not involved with Reza's plans. Well, you do have the Council's support. If Emra voiced that you were on our side, it wouldn't be so bad if the public found out. Yeah, but she also made it clear that she believes most people won't have the same opinion. She won't support me publicly if their vote is against me. That's true. Emra plays the political game a lot. She aligns with the popular opinion so people will like her. I mean, it's a good tactic. Look, there's a bunch of options here. But obviously, if you're a politician, you're going to want to line up yourself with the public opinion, because that way it makes it easy for them to like you. And if they like you, they're more listened to trust you when you make decisions. So, if you're a politician, again, me not taking any sort of political class ever in my life, just using my reasoning here. If you're a politician, the best bet for you is probably to make sure the people like you. Because that's how you get voted in. And how people complain less about your decisions and try to defend you. It's a good tactic. If you're playing that game, I guess so. Does the public know about the portal's current state? No, if it can be fixed, it wouldn't be worth mentioning. And if they can't fix it, they aren't going to announce it before they know how to deal with the current situation. Compared to Reza, it's not really a problem. It might become one pretty soon if word gets out. Well, word gets out and I'm suddenly his accomplice. What would happen to me? How would you even deal with Reza if you caught him? I'm not sure. I suppose we'd have to work something out between our legal system and whatever humanity has to say on the matter. And if the portal is done for, what then? Humanity would be out of the picture for any legal proceedings. Reza would likely be held until contact had been reestablished. Or just serve his sentence here. I see. How do your jails work anyway? Well, if a crime has been committed and proven without a doubt, a jail sentence can be the consequence. Our delinquents live in an area separate from the rest of society, monitored at all hours of the day. They receive the help they need, and efforts are taken to make them realize their wrongdoings and integrate them back into our community. Wow, that... Really having a problem with my microphone tonight. As I was saying, that sounds nice. You mean your jail system actually tries to rehabilitate people and not keep them imprisoned indefinitely for just committing a crime? And making it significantly harder for them to, like, reintegrate? Life isn't that much different there than it is here. The spaces are more cramped, for sure, but mostly it's just a very controlled environment. That's not much of a punishment. It is a consequence, not necessarily a punishment. Our society at large benefits more from people who are rehabilitated, and if mental issues are the cause, those can at least be found and addressed. My God, it sounds so great! That sounds like how it used to be back home. These days, in our city, you get 3 strikes. What does that mean? 3 infractions of our rules, and you get thrown out of the city. If someone is a drain on our limited resources, we don't support them. While I can understand why you would need to incorporate such a policy, the finality of it makes me a bit uneasy. It has worked so far, and it's not as if the outside is completely unkind. Some people expelled from the city might find a different community, or join one of the mobile groups. The situation inside our city-state is still much better than outside, though. They're very strict with those allowed to live there. It's a privilege. Anyone or anything that threatens the inside society or the lives of its people are removed quickly. How would a murderer like Reza be dealt with? An eye for an eye? No, we don't do that, but murder is a crime so heinous that immediate expulsion is the consequence, regardless of prior infractions. I see. What do the citizens think about the system? Some agree with the methods, some don't. But as long as it works, people don't complain. Weeding out the undesirable elements is what keeps their standard of living intact. I guess that means politics don't play a big role where you come from. No, they won't change a working system. It varies here, but I'm so tired of Emra and her games. As I work with her, I can see exactly how she plays the public. I know every council member has their own approach, but everything she does is so tailored towards the public's expectations. For her, it's just a popularity contest. You know what? That gives me an idea. Really? What is it? The human visit and all the associated consequences are her responsibility, right? Yes. For her, this situation with Reza must be utterly horrifying. She keeps talking about preventing public backlash, but she's really just trying to protect herself. That sounds accurate. Maybe we can use that to our advantage. Alright, have a good night. Good luck on whatever it is you're doing, Howard. How? She can't send me back to my world right now. That makes me the only one here with knowledge of Reza and humans in general. That's true. If I speak from this point of authority, we should have a much easier time convincing her of anything we want. You can convince her to let you stay in our world, though. Yes, but I was trying to use reason with her. I didn't take into account her fear of public backlash. I think we can manipulate this fear of hers and use it to our advantage. If there were consequences to fear from Reza, me, or the rest of humanity, and those consequences would make her look bad to the public, that would be reason for her to reconsider any action, right? I suppose so, but what situation could this apply to? She nearly sent me back through the portal. If she tries anything again, at least we have something we can use against her. I think I see where you're coming from. Reza's still a mystery to me, though. All things considered, wouldn't it be beneficial for him to just stay here? No offense, but even our prisons offer a better standard of living than your city. As such, couldn't that be a reason for him to have vandalized the portal? I don't think so. You're right, your world is in much better shape than ours. But even if Reza could stay here, he wouldn't. He came here for the same... I'll read that again because I think it might have just triggered. To help our people. He has a very pronounced sense of duty to humanity. And I believed in him when he stepped... I really need to be more careful around this fucking wire. He has a very pronounced sense of duty to humanity. And I believed in him when he stepped through the portal. He proclaimed that he would do everything he could. When I met him again in this world, I had the impression that he wanted to get our mission over with as soon as possible, so he could return to our world with aid. That's going to be difficult with the portal out of order. The person who did it probably didn't realize it wasn't a very good idea. This might make Reza even more desperate. Who knows what he'll do next? And if anything happens, I can't leave either. The portal is gone for good. I suppose you'd have to stay here. What do you think about that? And that wouldn't be so bad. That wouldn't be so bad. Of course, I still want to help our city, but if there was no way to return, I wouldn't mind living here. I see. Only now do I realize that everything I told you earlier must seem so petty compared to the struggles you face. Remy, that's bullshit. Your problems are your own. Don't compare your problems to someone else's. Because it belittles your feelings and that's not fair to you. We all have our own struggles. I suppose that's true. I can't even imagine what life must be like where you're from. Back home, I was just trying to survive and help others do the same. That hasn't changed. I'm almost afraid of going back to the city, though. Times are rough, so rough. Yet, even if I didn't have to go back, I would. I can't just let them down like that, you know? I have to try and do what I can. That's why I came here. I wish I could be that strong. Wow, that's so mean. You aren't. Deal with it. Sunglasses fall from the sky. Who says you can't? I don't know. You told me about your old job. Yeah, I miss those days. What about it? It's not exactly the same as saving a city, but you were helping people, right? That's true. Maybe once your term with Emra is over, you could do something like that again. I really wish I could. Well, this is awkward. I just realized something. What is it? I was trying to figure out why you wanted to hang out with me so often. What are you talking about? Since Amelia died, I've been alone. It's been years. I don't even have anyone I could consider a friend. When you came to our world and started to spend time with me, I thought maybe things were about to change, that maybe I'd found a friend. But you're not that different. You make fun of me and belittle me just like everyone else. Even after everything I told you about myself, you don't care about me, do you? If I was just your entertainment, that's alright. That's what people do to me. They watch and laugh, in secret or otherwise. I'm beginning to realize that maybe it's not their fault. Maybe it's me. Goodbye, Draco. Remy! You're not my fucking entertainment. Hope. Superstition. Chapter 5. After a night of turbulent dreams, my consciousness returned to the shores of the waking world. Today is the day of the big firework. Today is the day of the big fireworks? I don't know, that sentence seems wrong. Today is the day of the big fireworks. Who shall I bring? Adine. I mean, she was the only option, but still Adine. I guess she's here. Are you ready? Ready for what? The fireworks, silly! Oh, of course. Let's go. After a few minutes of walking, we arrived at a rather empty-looking area near the edge of town. Here we are. If this is everyone, I'm disappointed. I thought it would be crowded here. This is actually one of my training spots, and it turns out you can see the fireworks pretty well from here, too. So this is your secret spot, then? I guess you could say so. Well, now that I know of it, I suppose it's not so secret anymore. Not if you keep it to yourself. We could make it our secret. It's starting! Now, take a good look. We waited quietly in the stillness of the night We waited quietly as the stillness of the night enveloped us. Soon, I heard the sounds of the first rocket making its way into the night sky, after which it exploded in a pattern of colors. More rockets followed, their thunderous noise echoing throughout the land. Alright, let's take it from the top. Considering how public an event this was and how everyone would be watching the fireworks, now would be the best time for Reza to make his move. Not only was the village basically deserted, but the sounds of the fireworks would also overshadow any gunshots, giving him as much security as he would ever have. As the portal had been repaired by the mysterious person I met, now was the perfect time for Reza to make his getaway, and I was the only one who knew. Adine, I think I need to go. We need to go. Now. Stop joking around, Draco. You still haven't seen the best part. I know where Reza is, and we need to stop him. Are you serious? Yes, I am. What should we do then? Maybe you could fly and get some help? I'll try to buy us some time by confronting him. Alright, where should I meet you? Somewhere near the portal. You'll be there. Let's go! I arrived at the portal just a few minutes later. I couldn't help but be glad that it was still turned off, and didn't appear to have been used recently. But it meant Reza was still here somewhere. I looked around, thinking about where he could be, or if it was worth waiting for him here, when I saw something at the corner of my eye. Hesitating, I drew nearer. I checked Sebastian for any signs of life, and found nothing. However, his body was still warm. Reza was still here. Reza was here very recently. But he hadn't used the portal just yet. Why? Sebastian's guard post was not just for the portal itself, but also the surrounding area. Since Reza was already here, he probably had some unfinished business very close by. The underground building. The administrator had told me all about the prowess of the generators within. It probably hadn't been hard for Reza to guess the same, or to try stealing them from the place he knew would be even more deserted than the rest of the village was right now. He also didn't have to go far from the portal. All things considered, it was the only option that made sense to me. I could have waited for Reza here, but in the end I decided it would be better to meet him underground. If there was going to be a confrontation, I was sure I would have the advantage in a more crowded space. Although we've been through this before, so I might just skip through it here. Even in the darkness, it was easy for me to spot the site where they had unearthed the building's entrance, as it was a roped off area that I had seen from afar before. But yeah, I think we're gonna skip through this until... I'm still reading through it, but I'm only doing so cursory because we've seen the scene and it doesn't seem to change all that much. And it's like one of the only scenes they won't allow me to skip. You know, a thought occurs to me actually now that we're speeding through this. So, as we discussed, this portal is a portal through time. Right? So, what's to stop them from taking the generators? Well, no, if they take the generators now, there's no way for them to travel back. Never mind. I was going to say, what's to stop them from grabbing some generators, going back to their time, readjusting the portal to go further back in time than the point we're currently at, so that they could assist the dragons in... Don't know where that cut off, so let's just continue what I was saying. What's to stop them from going back to their world with stolen generators? I mean, aside from, they got taken, but... If Reza took a bunch of generators while everyone was watching the fireworks, walked through the portal with those generators, we could set the machine to go further back in time, in theory, because we've already done that multiple times now. Set the portal to go back in time to this period, but earlier, at the start of everything. We could just send it back even further than that, warn the dragons that in there, yo, listen, there's going to be a meteor coming. We got to do everything in our power to stop it. Or better yet, if you travel further back in time before Reza stole the generators in theory could still exist, and we could gather them up, although Reza's eventually going to come through the portal, and so is our future self. So that would be the problem. There'd be some paradoxical issues to deal with, huh? Yeah, never mind. Alright, come on. Where? There it is! I knew that's the turning point. His laugh. Wait, was that new? That might have been new. Why can't we talk about this? Wait, are you just trying to... you're just trying to distract me, aren't you? No, I'm just... Shut up! They're probably already on their way. Suddenly, Razor shot me in the leg, causing me to fall over and squirm in pain. I saw Razor running to the box containing... I saw Razor running to the box containing the generators. He lifted it up using both of his hands before making his way toward the exit as fast as he could. When Razor got close to the entrance, I saw a flurry of gray zipping past me with a thunderous gallop. I looked toward Razor, who turned around, dropped the box, and grabbed his pistol. It was Maverick, who pounced immediately. Razor fell to the ground, and before he could so much as react, Maverick buried his teeth in Razor's neck and bit down. You know, this is a very serious and tense moment, but I can't help but laugh at how that was displayed, where it just was Maverick's picture getting slammed into him. Razor slumped instantly and didn't move again. Hey, this time no one died except Razor! Oh geez, that's brutal. Then Adine appeared and called out to Maverick. Why did you have to kill him? I mean, Adine, in all fairness, he would have killed us. Because I'm not taking chances anymore. What took you so long? Draco, are you alright? You got me in the leg. Maybe there's a first aid kit in one of these rooms. Adine went into one of the adjoining rooms, only to reappear with the first aid kit shortly afterwards. I can't do anything else. I'm not sure if I can even apply the bandage. You could tell me what took you so long. Well, at first Maverick wanted to storm the place head on, but then I remembered the map you gave me, and the other entrance. We heard you two talking, and figured we could surprise him if we went the other way. Oh, I see. So they went through the other entrance to surprise him. Okay, no, that makes sense. Valid. I guess I shouldn't be complaining then, because this could have turned out so much worse. Well done, Adine. We probably should be getting you some real help. She turned to Maverick. Come on, what are you waiting for? Maybe he thinks I'm going to take the generator while you're gone? Guess you really wanted to stop Reza. My apologies. He turned, and they both left. Shortly thereafter, the administrator appeared and came toward me. Izumi, you're kind of late this time, too. How ironic you would remember her name now. Besides, it didn't seem like you really needed me. Good job. Her name? What are you talking about? I'm not Izumi. How many fucking administrators are there? The person I thought was the administrator took off the mask, only to reveal a strangely familiar face on it. I swear to God, if it's fucking Reza, I'm gonna be mad. The person before me had a face that looked exactly like mine, down to the tiniest detail. It was like looking into a mirror, or at a twin. It was me. Oh, for fuck's sake, I'm looking at future me. Hello, future me, how are things going? You understand why I'm wearing the mask now? How is this possible? It's complicated. By now, I guess you know that this always ends with you traveling back in time when something goes wrong. When I was in your position, Izumi died during a confrontation with Reza. And has all the experience from all the different attempts vanished with her, I decided I had to become the person who would oversee the next one. I didn't know just how complicated it would be. Luckily, she left a lot behind to help me, and I executed her plan just as she would. So, what do we do now? Well, with the generator still intact, we will have no trouble diverting the comet and saving this world. But I also know that you feel very strongly about executing the mission you were sent here for. Unfortunately, I'm starting to realize now that this won't be possible. What are you talking about? As outlined in Izumi's plan, I deleted the coordinates that would lead back to humanity's portal when I repaired this one. Replaced them with coordinates to travel back in time to the day of your arrival in this world. Unfortunately, this means that our connection to humanity's portal is lost. Completely. Are you saying we could have saved humanity if you just didn't remove those coordinates? I'm afraid so. Then why did you do it? I didn't realize it would come to this. I just executed her plan as she would have. I can understand her reasoning for it, though. It presents an extraordinary risk. Eliminating these coordinates also eliminates the possibility of Reza getting away through the portal and taking the generator we need with him. Why not just tie them to my biometric data, like the coordinates we need to travel back in time? That wouldn't be much help, because in scenarios where Reza escapes with the generator, he wouldn't hesitate to kill you to take what he needs to bypass the biometric scan and use the portal anyway. then the only way to achieve what we want is to not delete those coordinates. Can we really take that risk? You know that if we fail badly enough, even once, if the portal gets destroyed or if both the administrator and you die, there won't be any more chances. If you've seen what goes from the administrator's side during my stay here, I suppose you should be the one to decide that. That still doesn't address the question of what we should do now, though. If we want to make this happen, one of us will have to go back and do this all over again. And what happens to the other? Well, if consuming of media with time travel is any indicator, I'd imagine the other one just ceases to exist. They could stay here and live their life however they wanted. Oh, what about Adine? I wish I could stay with her. All she's done for the orphans, I wish I could be part of that. I wish I could be done with this already and settle down. But someone has to go back and ensure we can reach the outcome both of us want. No matter if it's you or me, one of us has to do it. Otherwise, all those we know back home, I don't think I need to tell you. Why are you making me think of those who suffer? You'll never forget them. And if you don't do this, it will haunt you, you know? I know. What do you want me to do? Go back in time and do it all over again? It's what we've been trying to do all this time. You know? No compromise. And of course you want me to do it so you can stay here, huh? I will do it myself if that's what it takes. I just hoped it wouldn't have to be me. Don't we both? If we wanted to settle for an outcome where we just stop the comet and stay here, we could have done it so long ago. Fumble. Done so a long time ago. That doesn't mean that we're both not tired of this. Maybe forgetting everything again by stepping through the portal would be a boon then. Don't try to make this more palatable for me. How many times have we done this now? I mean, me personally? 3 times. I don't know. Safe answer. Alright, so we have some intel that we didn't have before. We have the blueprints to the underground facility. We have the knowledge of Anna's cancer. We have the code for the hatch in Tatsu Park. So I'm thinking our next run-through of this, we're gonna have to go to that hatch in Tatsu Park. Obviously. I mean, no question. So there's the hatch. There's... I mean, I could spend time with Anna again to see if anything new happens with that. There's also the other people that we still need to hang out with. There's Lorem we need to hang out with to figure out where the fuck he went, because he's been missing, and that's something I haven't looked at. Okay, I don't know if that picked up or not, so I'm going to say it again. There's Remy's timeline, which we haven't gone through all the way. And according to Vibe, that's a pain in the ass to go through. So we'll have to do it eventually. I'm thinking we'll do Bryce and Lorem next time. What will you do now? For the time being, I suppose I'll be stuck in this world. Just losing the connection to humanity's portal. How is that even possible? I don't know. Liar! Sorry, I'm allergic to bullshit. Maybe we'll never be able to reestablish contact. No matter what happens, you'll always be welcome here. You put your life on the line to save us, and it cost your colleague his life. Reza was never my colleague. Then what was he exactly? You know, maybe it's better if humanity never finds out what happened. Oh well. Either way, I'm glad you're here now. And I think Amelie will appreciate it too. You think so? I'm sure of it. The people from the orphanage should be here any minute now. I'm a bit nervous, to be honest. Have you ever babysat before? Not a dragon, that's for sure. Don't worry, I'll be here with you the whole time. But you'll have to be very careful, alright? Of course. I guess it's time. Are you ready? I think so. I think that was Adine's good ending. Hey, first good ending! Optimist! You have seen Adine's good ending. Decisions. Oh, hey, and there's a sun there now. And there's Adine up in the corner with her full-colored portrait. So I guess the way it works is when you get a bad ending, you get the silhouette. If you get a good ending, you get the full portrait. That's interesting. Alright. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be ending this episode here. And in the next one, it's time for Timeline 4. I'll see you guys then.